Hello everyone, thank you for watching Mad Trucks with Marcos. Today we are looking at another 2017 Wrangler. This one has a 777 Customs low center gravity package on it. So we're going to go through and check out this setup on this Jeep, and I think you're going to like it. Alright, so like I mentioned, this is a 2017 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Rubicon. So it started off really well loaded. The Rubicon is the only way to get the Dana 44 axle in the front. So most of them, all of them have the Dana 44 in the rear. You can upgrade to like a limited slip, I believe is what you can get in these. When you go to the Rubicon, it actually has lockers front and rear, so you can push a button on your dash and actually lock in your front and rear axle individually. And then it also has a factory sway bar disconnect, which again, by the push of a button, you can disconnect the sway bar and let that front axle really travel really independent in an off-road scenario. So starting off with the Rubicon, it can just handle a lot more abuse than the standard Jeeps. All the Jeeps are off-road capable. All the Wranglers are off-road capable. However, the Rubicon is the most off-road capable. So when we're starting to build, it is exciting when we get to work off a Rubicon platform. So yeah, 17 Rubicon. So this one, our low center gravity package has no suspension lift. So the suspension on this one is actually 100% factory. You can upgrade the shocks, but that's not necessarily it's not gonna lift it at all. You'd just be upgrading the shocks. So to do that, we did have to swap out the front bumper. We went with the Aries, their new aluminum modular front bumper. We've done this bumper on different builds before in different configurations. This is how it looks. You know, this is a stubby setup. So you just the center section and then the two end caps that go on each side. So nice stubby setup, matches right here really nicely with the grill. And then we do get the bar right here that will give us a little protection, also let us mount lights if we want to do so there. It does allow us to relocate the factory fog lights right into that bumper. Really important for us because this Jeep was ordered, so it's got the LED headlights and fog lights from the factory. So the fact that we can just repurpose those and have a nice LED light on these is really nice, as opposed to having to go out and buy an aftermarket one. So really happy about that. But yeah, all the Aries products that we have, the texture of the powder coat is just awesome. You have that like, I don't know, I call it the spider web cracks, but it's just like a nice textured powder coat. Has a little bit of gloss to it, so you can see like when the sun's hitting it, it does have a little bit of shine to it, which is really nice. But yeah, it looks really nice. It looks like it's meant to be on a Jeep, which is really cool. Also want to point out, there's other companies out here. I mean, I've done a lot of steel bumpers, I've done a lot of steel flares. Total, we're talking, I mean, you could be adding 300, 400 pounds to your Jeep. Just by doing steel stuff. So by doing aluminum stuff, really, I don't see us adding more than maybe 50 pounds total to this Jeep on body work. Wheels and tires are another story. But body work wise, you know, if you can shave off 300 pounds, 350 pounds, I know that the Jeeps are not race cars, but manufacturers are trying to shave grams off how much cars weigh. So if we can save 300 pounds by doing aluminum bumpers and fenders over steel is a really nice option for us. This one's got the 373 gears and it feels real nice and peppy. It doesn't feel, you know, slow or groggy at all. It gets up to 60 miles an hour, no problem. So yeah, you have seen it. We've done it with the end caps. We've also done it with additional bars and then the tow hooks. Those are all options you can add to this. But this is the base that you'd want to start with. Me personally, I like the stubby look. When I look at the Jeep from the front, I like to be able to see the whole front tire. I don't like it when the bumper gets in front of it. I know it's just different preferences. That's mine. I like seeing that whole front tire. So on this one, you look at it from the front. It's low, it's wide, and you can see the two front tires. So real cool there. I love the bumper. Moving on to the flares. So this is their front aluminum fender flare. Again, like I mentioned on the powder coating, on the bumper, obviously this matches because it's Aries products. But even if you're putting it up with other stuff, that texture, I mean, it's really nice, matches with a lot of different things. But like I said, most importantly, it's really high quality aluminum construction. Don't have to worry about rust or stuff like that. And then, yeah, I mean, it fits really well on the Jeep. It gives us, a few inches of clearance that with the plastic factory flares we wouldn't have had. So that's another thing for us to fit this 35 without rubbing. There's really, you pretty much have to do something with the fenders, and you usually have to address something on the bumper. So this right here gives us all the clearance we need on a Jeep Unlimited to run the factory 35-inch tire. I will mention, so this is a Toyo Open Country MT tire. It's a 35 by 12.5 on an 18-inch wheel. We've done a lot of the Toyo mud tires, but there's a reason for it. It's because it's one of the best on the market for the mud tires. I mean, they do a really good tire. They've been doing it for a while. On the highway, they ride nice. At low speeds, you feel it a little bit in the steering wheel on these Wranglers, but it's really not too bad. Really not much of a sacrifice at all for how aggressive a tire you get. And also for a mud tire, they end up wearing pretty decently for most people. So on the Jeeps, if you're looking for a mud tire, this is a great tire to go with. It is on an 18-inch Method Racing wheel. Method's been around for a long time in the wheel game, and I really like this one. So it's got like the beadlock design around the side. This is not a true beadlock, it's just the beadlock design on the wheel. So that being black, and then I can't get over how much, well, here I go getting in the sun, the texture that's on the wheel. You kind of almost have to feel it. It's an awesome texture for a wheel. I haven't really seen any other wheels that are quite like this. But yeah, it's got like a satin finish on that gunmetal paint. So on the black, it works really well. But I really think this is a wheel that could work on a lot of different color combos. Method is, I mean, it's a premium wheel, so it's not going to be the cheapest option. But if you're looking to do something like this, as far as putting a bigger tire on without doing a suspension lift, there's not too many manufacturers that make the right offset and back spacing to get this done. Everyone's going to ask what the offset and the back spacing is, and I could tell you that if you buy this Jeep, you will know exactly what the back spacing and offset is on this wheel, but it took a lot of time to get it done right. So all you got to know is that on this Jeep, even articulated, we have like fake rocks, even articulated with this wheel all the way up hitting the bump stop, it does not rub anywhere. So that's really important to us. This is a brand new Jeep, somebody's going to buy it, and they're going to want a turnkey experience, so it doesn't rub, it doesn't do anything weird on the road, rides really nice. So yeah, overall, really happy with just how it's come together. But yeah, other thing I want to mention that, when we're not doing a suspension lift, all the suspension is basically factory. That's really nice as far as an option, is even if you didn't want to lift it because of the ride quality, because you thought maybe you're going to mess that up. Well, if you're not messing with the suspension, I mean, you feel the wheels and tires a little bit, but overall, I mean, it doesn't completely change how the Jeep drives, which is great considering completely change how the Jeep looks. I will point off inside the fender, we have Ace Engineering inner fender liner. I really like that one. Again, it's an aluminum construction and they powder coat it black. Aries does have their fender liners coming out soon. But I've been using the Ace Engineering ones for a long time, have not had any problems. And yeah, they work really nice. They protect, they just kind of protect the engine bay a lot from any debris, mud that's gonna get thrown up. So it's gonna protect it, but it also, I think it gives it a really nice, clean look. On a complete build, this is how it should look. It should be nice and clean. You shouldn't see the wires exposed. You shouldn't be able to see the starter. Just kind of finishes it up, in my opinion. So that's on the front. Moving around to the side. So this is Aries tubular side step. So of course the powder coating matches everything else. This is the only, I believe, the only body stuff that I did on this Jeep that's steel. I believe these are steel, but they are, I mean, they're a step, but they're in a spot that's, kind of vulnerable. I mean, they are going to take some abuse potentially. So I could see why making those out of steel makes sense. It's obviously a really strong product. But yeah, it's nice to get in and out of the Jeep. Again, this one didn't really get lifted necessarily, maybe just an inch higher from the bigger tires. So it is nice to have that step to get in and out, but also if you ever plan on doing anything on the top, if you put a roof rack, if you put stuff up there, even to just take the freedom panels in and out, it is a really nice flat step point to get up on there. So it depends on what you want to do. You know, they serve a function also. They're a little shorter than where the factory ones are. So if I wanted to like run a 37-inch tire, I wouldn't be able to run a 37 in most scenarios with a factory rock rail. So this would let you do that. It would get you the clearance on the back. Okay, so on the back, so to match the front, we did the aluminum fender flares on the back. You'll notice they're not as wide as the front ones are. That's just kind of by design. The factory ones on the rear are also a lot more narrow than they are on the back. But yeah, these are about 4 or 5 inches wide, I think is what they go by. And again, the construction's really nice. They're very light. So super strong, very durable. I've stood on them before, but at the same time, they're very light, which again is important on these Jeeps. But yeah, again, I love the fit. I like the finish. It gives the Jeep a really nice look. Matches really well with the black, but you could do them on any Jeep and it's gonna look good. So I just can't say enough about how much I like the fender flares there. All right, on the back. So this is Aries rear bumper. We have seen it before. We did it on a white Rubicon. That one had a different aftermarket dual exhaust system. This one shows how it would fit, you know, if you do it with a factory exhaust system. It does have the dual cutouts on the back, but if you just have the single exit exhaust, a factory Jeep exhaust, it's going to come out on the right side just like that, very nicely. If you ever wanted to upgrade to duals, you could do that. But yeah, design-wise, it's a nice look. I like that they kind of worked the tube into here a little bit, so it helps bring together the front bumper, the fender flares, and then the rock rails. It kind of just ties everything together with the theme of the bar. The rolled bar there. So I like that. You can also change the setup on this. This is the full rear bumper. But yeah, down in the back, these cutouts are obviously cool. They're just for looks. But down here, it's got a couple spots. It's got the same one on the other side. If you wanted to put lights on there for the trail, or maybe just an extra off-road light, whatever you wanted to do, it does have spots there where we could just really mount up a light. And it'd be nice, clean, it'd be protected would be the biggest thing. It's kind of up out of the way. That'd be a real tough spot for something to bounce up and hit it. So they did think about that. So we really like that. And then last but certainly not least, this is a Wrangler, so we had to do 5 wheels and tires. We did a aftermarket spare tire carrier, basically just to do a 12.5-inch wide tire on a factory spare tire carrier. It's not going to give you enough clearance. It's also not going to distribute the weight correctly for what we're doing. So going with a bigger spare tire carrier, it brings it out, so it lets us run that 12.5-inch wide tire. The other thing, it's reinforced a little better in the factory tire carrier for distributing the weight, and then it's also going to allow us to lift up the third brake light. If we would have left this how the factory one was, the third brake light would be half cut off by the tire, which would be no good. So yeah, really cool Jeep. The low center of gravity package is really nice for somebody that wants the look of a lifted Jeep but doesn't necessarily want any of the downside of lifted Jeep. So it is definitely a great setup if you're just riding around on the road, but if you're going off-roading, having a low center of gravity also has its advantages there. So really nice setup. If you have any questions about it, please let us know. And this one is for sale at our Kunes Country of Elkhorn store, the Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram off Highway 67. We have this one including like 6 or 7 other custom Jeeps at any given time. So any questions you have about any Jeeps, please give us a call and we will get you guys taken care of. All right, have a great day, guys.